Okay, we have an extremely worrying story for you guys in this video. It's about Laurence Fox, the leader of the Reclaim Party, and it's about his family and his kids and their relationship with the teachers and the woke school that they go to. This is really weird what's happening in our schools these days. Again, we've been talking about all this for the past few years. There's nothing new about it, but this is just some new information about what teachers are actually doing to our kids in our schools. It's very, very bad. And it's about brainwashing the kids. Now they're basically telling Laurence Fox as a father that he needs to get permission to hug his own kid. The kid needs to give consent. This is so bad. So Sally Beck is also a journalist, reported that Laurence Fox says his son told him that he needed permission to give him a hug. This is why Laurence Fox and Reclaim are tackling and challenging the education department over PCHE taught in our schools. A group of parents are also taking legal action against the Department of Education. Now, we're going to have government ministers from the same department coming out to support it, but they're going to give the nice words, but no action as usual. But let's find out what's going on in this story. Sally Beck said, at yesterday's House of Commons launch to reclaim education, Laurence Fox said that the first time I realized that something wasn't right and that schools were not the place where we dropped off our kids for them to learn the 3 R's and make lifelong friends was one evening a few years ago when my eldest son was heading off to bed and I asked for the usual goodnight hug, only to be greeted with, "You need my consent for that." I asked him who had told him that his dad needed consent for a hug, and he said, well, they taught it to us at school. Okay. Suffice to say that I got my hug, Laurence says, and off he went to bed. But this got me curious. I wrote to the school and asked about this concept of consent, and they informed me that it was part of the PCHE and RSC, that they were teaching the children about it. They also informed me, Laurence Fox, they were having a fairly tough time as one clever child was already playing the system and was repeating at lunch that he didn't consent to eat broccoli. All sounds pretty harmless, but then I began to dig. And far from the light-hearted misunderstandings of consent, I found that within the hours devoted to PCHE and RSC each week, whilst we thought that our kids were improving their spelling and arithmetic, no, much more sinister things were taking place. I approached my youngest son's school and asked for lesson plans, which I was given. I'm lucky. And many parents are denied access to these, and I was horrified. My young son was being taught that girls and boys can be born in the wrong body, and the skin color privilege was real, and the banging drum of diversity, equity, and inclusion sounded loudly throughout that so-called curriculum. There is, in fact, no standardized curriculum for what it can only be described as the brainwashing and indoctrination of children. I'm a father. The best interests of children are in the overwhelming majority of cases left to parents and their family to safeguard. My children are children, and they are not young recruits to a political ideology. Every single parent should be concerned that it is time to reclaim education. So that was according to Laurence Fox talking to Sally Beck. And then we actually had Laurence also saying, responding to it, a message to parents. Yesterday in Parliament, the Bad Law Project team announced that we will be taking legal action against the government and the Education Department on behalf of multiple families who have been ripped apart by the criminal political indoctrination of children in schools, where children are socially transitioned behind their parents' back without their knowledge or consent, leading on to irreversible mutilations on the young body. So this whole issue is now escalating because it's not really just about the classic, well, modern days, the cliche case of, oh, well, we're going to teach kids about LGBT rights and everything else, or basic diversity, people's skin color. This is now getting to a very dangerous territory, because if your teacher is basically teaching a kid that your Parents should ask permission to hug you and to love you. Something else is going on. There was always something else about all these ideas. It wasn't really what it seemed on the surface. They started this back in the 50s and 60s. The so-called crazy, ultra-leftist liberal academics and the so-called philosophers, the modern-day Marxists who created these ideas, decided to completely infiltrate every aspect of the Western civilization, and nobody said anything about it. And now you can see the state of Disney, you can see the state of Hollywood, you can see the state of our education system and everything else that we have around the Western world. We have to fight back. And I know people would say it's already too late, but if you accept that premise, then what's the point of even continuing our lives? You have to continue to fight back, and one day we can win this big battle. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget, next Sunday, 23rd of July, we have our 300,000 subscribers party. The link is in the description. We're going to have a big party. We're going to have a big event. You're going to come ask questions, and we're going to talk about all the political issues of the day and also have a quick chit chat over a few drinks. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.